Nephi chapter 1, verse 11. And they came down and went forth upon the face of the earth. And the first came and stood before my father, and gave unto him a book, and bade him that he should read. Now this goes back to the previous verse, and this is talking about the 12 apostles. And like we talked about before, like, is Judas part of this? I think it makes sense that he is. I guess it could be Paul, could be Matthias. He's talking about the 12 apostles. They're with the one, with Christ. And then it says, talks about they went forth upon the face of the earth. And I think I have questions about this, but it seems like it could mean two things. One, he sees this future, obviously, of the 12 in Jerusalem doing their work with Christ and everything that they do after his death. And he sees this sort of thing. Or it could mean he could be seeing them as angels before and as spirits going down and doing work on the earth, as we know that any angel that comes upon the earth has either lived on the earth or will live on the earth. So it could mean that as well. I guess both sides are possible. I'm going with number one, though. I think that's the most likely way that he's meaning it at this time. So who is the first? It talks about they came down the face of the earth, and the first came and stood before my father. And I'm wondering who this first is. Is it Jesus, or is it one of the apostles? Is it most likely, I guess you'd say, probably Peter? One of the person brings the book. It just says the first. So I don't really know, obviously, who it means exactly. This idea, though, of a book being delivered or read to a prophet, it's not an odd thing. This thing happens to Lehi. This actually kind of goes along with, it's a very Middle Eastern thing in general, with the Quran. This idea of this book given to Muhammad, the Quran, being something eternal and being given to him verse by verse. But it's this book that in the sense, eternal, that's with God. It's also talking about Ezekiel 2:9. Ezekiel receives a book. Revelation 5:1. John sees this really important book that's in heaven. So this idea of Lehi having a book brought to him by these important people, again, is not odd. This is a pretty normal, a normal idea, Middle Eastern idea that is happening here. So.